All right, folks, welcome on back here this Thursday, May 26th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Great to see Norman and Michael still sticking with us here. Great to see all of us otherwise. Perhaps Glenn and Robert rejoining us live right now. Maybe Kathleen or later rejoining us live right now. Patrick as well. Folks, we have to jump right to it here. We do have class continuing today. The phase 2 curriculum, that is. We'll be talking more about the preparation aspect behind trading the volatile market sessions. We'll focus more actually kind of on the market open in retrospect, going back into the market open today, the pre-market, explaining, what we look for before the opening bell. So with that, it's actually going to be a very fast-paced class. I look forward to that. So we're going to post the link for that coming up in just a moment. But for right now, hey, the APYX stock, it's on the screen to begin. Markets have only, pushed up today, which is what we were kind of expecting all throughout yesterday afternoon. And we got that for a good little while, but, markets kind of dipped off after like 3:30. But man, today, really nice pop. With that, APYX on the screen. So right now, this one just tried to make a new high the day just before. Ended up, if not testing the highs, then maybe even breaking above it. But obviously, coming right back down here. Now, I'm going to put this on our list more on the long side, but I just wrote to Norman, who just jinxed this for us here in our live trading room. No, I'm teasing Norman by saying that. He wrote that, but it's to say APYX is shortable. This stock actually is easy to borrow. So, what happens if this fails to pop, fails to break a higher high? What happens if we see more selling coming in momentarily? Then it could be a pretty interesting short, pretty interesting trade the other way around. So APYX, either way, we'll put on our list. Hopefully it makes the higher low and the pop up higher, but just check to see if the volume begins to wane off from this point forward, like I said. All right, so folks, we have the class coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern. Markets are cruising on the way up, meaning I wouldn't find a whole lot on the loser side here. So we'll try and really mostly contain it to the gainer side for right now, but let's go right from top to bottom. Let's see what we have here. The red box warrants lead the top of the gainers list. We're not really particular about warrants, let alone like a cheapie here like this, but warrants in particular, they're not really going to trade as much volume on the order book. They might make a bigger move percentage-wise compared to the equity, but I'm more interested in RDBX itself, right? So let's just take a look at that to begin. How about that? RDBX, I actually just got shaken out on this thing. Took a small loss just before, and I ended up missing the first push upon the market open. So, I ended up jumping in this trade actually much later on off of 9. I was late to the party. I was still able to grab a good chunk of the action off the re-break of 9 there. Got out in time under 950, but with that was the end of the run. Then from there, pulled back. And at that point, I was screaming for support as early as 9:19 Eastern time inside our live trading room. Sometimes I like to copy and paste certain call outs I make from much earlier because it emphasizes the price levels I'm at least following. So over time, this has been building support. I called out a couple of different levels, but, namely just before it tanked. And from there, I thought this thing would have just kind of continued to slump off heading into the close. And right once it started to consolidate, I ended up jumping in. I took a small loss. It pushed up a little bit more from that point. So maybe now is when it's beginning to build that support I was expecting off of 741 to 750 I'd mentioned. So right now, I could put this on our list. It's trading nearly 66 million shares, which is a lot. But to be transparent, this stock does trade a lot of volume day to day. More often than not, it has at least. At least we could say this stock we've been following more on than off over the last month, right? So we are really familiar with it. The issue is just that the selling pressure from earlier, I feel like, is just going to continue to weigh this down. So I'll come back to this definitely at the end. I wouldn't mind putting it on our list, but I want to just see if there's any other opportunities, stocks more, close to the highs or close to the lows that you could at least short. This one's at the lows close to, but yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. The APYX already on the list here, so we keep it going. SPRC, I was not a fan of this at all going into the open. Ended up just being more of a dud after the pre-market pop. It was top heavy in pre-market, ended up pulling back. And then, I'm sure it made like a couple of decent little bounces, micro bounces, good for 15, 20 cents. But just to put it loosely, I was a hater of this stock all day. So, I stayed away from this personally, but, hey, it ended up actually filling in a lot more, the order book. It became a lot more liquid compared to what it was in pre. So, that's good to say at least. That's what made it more tradable, but nothing really too special about this right now, I feel. All right, talk. There was something going on with this move earlier. It ended up getting halted on the way up, ended up, well, consolidating to make a new high going into the early afternoon. And then since just the volume died off. So like I'd said before on one of the other ones there, when the volume dies off, well, the stock's going to begin to go with it. And that was the APYX. I think I'd said that on. All right, let's see what else we got. Just a bunch of cheapies on the top of the gainer side here, trying to filter it out by price here, like 87-cent HCTI, 80-cent TCPP, and yeah, BZUN, one that we're actually familiar with. It's, at the highs, you could say, right? So we appreciate that. But the stock's only trading like 1,500, 2,000 shares a minute on average. That's not a whole lot. That's not really big money, right? So it's at the highs, but with the market up right now, you could say that for probably about 100 different stocks. It's a matter of just trying to pick and choose and, figure out the ones that are, most cost effective, the most volatile, and also the most tradable based on volatility. So, Macy's right now coming off of earnings, I think, right? We ended up seeing a big drop down, big shake at first, once the market opened up, ended up basically going under and over from 21.20, and then from there ended up lifting off. So, this one I feel like could give us a little extra push going into the close, albeit it is just dropping back down now off that last high. But, right now I'd be a little bit more compelled on the Macy's trade compared to like a BZUN. Let's just kind of see what else we got on the gainer side. Kind of just pick and choose. The AFRM, we've been calling this out from the market open today. One of our students, Chuck, hopefully he's tuning in right now. He's been killing it. So shout out to him on this trade. He's been doing really well. Getting upwards of like $1.50 a trade. I think on his last one, he was in from 26.65. He got out at 27.90. So $1.25 trade that was from him. So nice catch from Chuck. Right now, I definitely like this one. The AFRM stock. We'll put this back on our list. I feel like this one's been pretty volatile over the last like 2 weeks since it got crushed and then made the slingshot back up. And yeah. Endo, ENDP, now it's a cheapie. I forgot about that. I actually forgot about how inexpensive this one ended up getting. Got crushed over time back in early May and throughout. So it's actually a familiar name. That's why I was more jumpy to click on it, but I'm not going to trade this. All right, IMMX, one that fits the criteria so far, but the chart, it's just pretty inactive. Not really doing a whole lot right now. All right, folks. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to need your help pretty much right off the bat because I will jump to the losers list, but there's a lot that's going to be up here, right? I mean, like number 50 is up 13+%. So if there's anything that's looking really good that's on the way up that you would want me to check out before we finish up here, just type it in the chat boards for all of us live inside Cyber Group and for all of us on social media. I'm just going to check out Dave and Buster's while I'm at it first. I may as well. This thing's just, dropping off a little bit. Didn't volume on the book, so we'll pass on that. All right, let's hop on over to the loser side here. AVDL is down over 62%. Doesn't mean, though, that it's going to dead cat bounce because, well, we ended up seeing yesterday. What stock was it? It was the VRCA stock yesterday. It was down over 55%. That went nowhere and upward down, right? So, this one, at least you could say, has been a pretty decent short throughout the day. Dropped off shortly after the open, just broke lower heading into the early afternoon. I'm not really too particular about following like a dollar stock on the way down. It's pretty close to the ground floor. So, how much opportunity can we get here? It's been proving me wrong in that regard. It's been a great trade up until, you could say now. So for right now, I'll pass. No real need to put this on our list here. Nutanix or Nutanix, my speech impediment. We'll mix that up there. This one ended up making a really good dead cat bounce. So, this one was down a lot more than, the 25% year that it is now. So, after the open, it ended up making a further drop, but then had made a big slingshot and pop right back on up after from 13.50 all the way up to over 17. So, for a stock down as much as this is and down as much as the AVDL was, you look for that dead cat bounce, but with that, again, it's just the same to be said on this as it is on the gainer side. Just for once you happen to see the volume waning down, the volume bar is getting smaller and smaller, it's going to happen. So this one ended up topping off right around that infamous 10:30 reversal time. So from there, right back down, led to a good bounce, made it tradable throughout the day. And I could put this on our list here even for the close, more on the short side at this point. I wouldn't necessarily expect another squeeze back up. Not to say that can't happen, but I'd expect with lower highs. But, I could definitely be more inclined to put this on our list compared to like the Macy's trade, definitely like Bison. You know what? I don't mind doing that. I'm more particular about a stock near the highs or near the lows. This is kind of in the middle, right? But it's trading good volume still at this point in the day. Not as much as before, but still about 27,000 shares a minute. So with that, the order book will be liquid. It'll be just readable. So that's at least something you want to focus on. All right. So folks, you tell me if there's anything else up or down, mainly up, but up or down more than 5% that you'd want me to check out or look at here before the end of the day. Let me know. That stopped out, I believe, if not mistaken, just on a trade I was in here, break even. I took profit on it earlier, but now it's dropping back down. This son of a bitch. SIGA right here ended up popping up, stopping me out. My entry is at 10:02, and then dropped back down. I mean, hey, I could put this on our list too. It was just made a nice run up before. I told one of our students, Michael, that it was a good short just earlier, and that's when I initially shorted it. I took half profits off 982 and then left half in just to play and have some fun. I did my homework on the day before class started and have a little fun now. And at least at this point, I'm going to head into class at 3 o'clock Eastern. So I'm not going to be holding on to anything going into the close, folks. If you're going to be joining me in class later on today, please, I wouldn't suggest holding on to anything or trading anything. But this remains tradable. So for right now, SIGA, I'll put back on our list. And hey, if it fails to break lower, right, then there is the chance that it can make the higher high, right? So, I was looking at it more as a short after the lengthy run-up that it had. I missed the run-up. Michael says, I did in Josh right now from 998. Nice, Mike. Nice. I was telling him before, but, dropped off and then, made that move back up, the second chance. So nice grab. And let's get that lower low from Mike. But if it ends up popping, then, we'll try and flip script and go long. But, Bill says, forget it, but I'm going to check it out anyway. How about that, Bill? It's like passing a note around once the teacher sees it. You got to read it out loud. So VSAT says, VSAT, well, it's at the lows. No, it's not at the lows, but, it's dropping off really nicely. Shortable, yeah, just thin volume on the book, but. All right, folks, that just about wraps it up for me here. For all of us on Facebook Live, for all of us on YouTube, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every day and each and every afternoon. I always like to post my emails here in the chat board just to end these streams. So here you go, Josh at c2trading.com. Any questions that you may have, any stocks that you wanted to go over, any crypto that you wanted to go over with me here, let me know, Josh at c2trading.com. But then otherwise, if you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, feel more than free to do so by going right down to the link on the yellow banner below right there to get yourself signed up. But for Bill, for Michael, for Leda, for all of us just here live right now, I know that Rich just posted the link for class coming up right now. Make sure that you click the link just so you're squared away on the tech side of things, the audio and tech and chat side of things. How about that? Most importantly, I'm going to join class coming up, though, myself, just to make sure I'm squared away. So, I know that Rich will be on the mic heading into the close. Best of luck to those trading and not joining me in class. But I look forward to seeing most of us here heading into the market close in the classroom. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9.